Hello everyone, my name is Jeff.
And I'm AJ.
And we are going to give you a speed tour of our home, Elliott Hall. Cool. AJ, we have 3 minutes, we better go.
Let's go.
Okay. So we're here in the Digital Media Lab. AJ, what goes on in this room?
In this room, well, essentially most of your classes are going to be here in the Digital Media Lab. Anything from photography, video, online, anything related to multimedia is going to be in this space. And the cool thing about it is that it used to be a cafeteria back in the day, and now it's a state-of-the-art multimedia classroom.
Do we still serve food?
I wish.
Actually, food is not allowed here, right?
No, it's not. But it is allowed in one of our rooms.
Oh, what's that?
The student lounge. Want to check it out?
Check it out.
All right.
So here we're on the student lounge, probably the most popular room in all of Elliott Hall among the students.
Yep, yes it is. Why is it, Jeff?
You know, I can answer you, AJ, in one word. Beanbags.
Yeah, no, I mean definitely. This is probably the most popular place in Elliott Hall, not because it's chill, but also because it's a good place to meet your friends. You don't have to just study here. You can hang out. You can eat in here, for one. Should I have said that?
Probably not, but
Probably
that's okay.
not.
It's okay.
But it is a popular place on campus, or in Elliott Hall.
And you can a lot of students use it to work.
Yeah.
In fact, what do we have here?
We have students.
We have students.
Working. Actually working.
Wow. Hey, Jesse, what do you work? Oh, Jesse's in class. We just photobombed Jesse, who's trying to do a Zoom class from the student lounge.
Is it?
So, yeah, sorry, Jesse, if you fail the class, just let me know. I'll have a word with the teacher, okay?
Okay.
Yeah.
Student actually working.
Actually doing work here. This is fantastic. So where to next, AJ?
We're off to the second floor. We're going to the post-production suite, which is right over here.
Oh, allow me.
Please.
Let's check it out.
After you. Cool.
Now this is a cool room.
Yes, it is. This is the post-production suite. This is where all of our students, once they're done shooting their videos, they can edit their videos here, and it's open 24 hours a day.
Wow.
Yeah, not only that, we also have audio editing booths here. So if you need to do voiceovers, if you have to do interviews, this is the quietest room we have on campus, literally on campus. More than that, on this floor as well, we also have a podcasting room. We have a color grading room where Academy Award winning documentary filmmaker Ruby Yang works.
But I mean, what if you want to do a voiceover and film stuff? Where do we get the equipment? Where do students get the equipment?
That's a good point. We actually also have an equipment office that's available to our Hong Kong U journalism students. You can get your cameras, your tripods, your microphones, audio recorders, lights, you name it, we have it. So.
What about vehicles, cars, pickup trucks?
Only you have that.
Oh, okay.
Privilege
of faculty, I guess, right?
I suppose so. But other than that, yeah, everything you need to do professional level work, we have here and available to you, the student.
But AJ, we've saved the best for last, haven't we?
Did we now?
We did.
Where are we going?
The studio.
Ooh, let's go.
Let's go.
All right. Look at this place. Looks nice.
Very cool. So, AJ, this is the studio. This, I think, is probably my favorite room in all of Elliott Hall.
Yeah, no, I like this place a lot.
So, what do we do here? What do the students do here?
Yeah, well, actually, they produce a news broadcast. On top of that, we also have the weather report, which goes out to all of Hong Kong U. And the cool thing is, the students can do it all by themselves. They work in the control room in the back, they work the cameras over here, and they're also anchoring behind the news desk.
See, I'm realizing now we should have checked our own weather report before we filmed this today.
I know.
It is a hot, miserable, yucky day.
And it was raining like crazy right before this shoot.
Well, you know, this is a good place to end our tour. We hope you enjoyed it. We're looking forward to seeing you here in person in Elliott Hall. Bye for now.
See ya. Hello, and welcome to the HKU Journalism Info Day session. My name is AJ Lubanow. I'm the director of the Bachelor of Journalism program.
And I'm Tina Villarreal. I'm part of the admissions team here at HKU Journalism.
If you're interested in our program, Tina and myself are going to be involved in the Bachelor of Journalism admissions process for many of the steps. So if you have any questions about the program, feel free to pop them into the Zoom chat below, or you can email us later on if you like. Before we even start, just want to let you guys know we're here in historic Elliott Hall, the second oldest building on campus. One of the cool things about this building, even though it looks old on the outside, but inside we have a state-of-the-art TV studio. We have these Mac labs. We have recording studios upstairs. It's a really cool place, and hopefully you guys see it in the fall. With that, we want to start off with a message from the director of HKU Journalism, Keith Richberg.
Hi, I'm Keith Richberg. I'm the director here at HKU Journalism, otherwise known as JMSC, or the Journalism and Media Studies Center. First of all, I want to thank you for joining this online broadcast, and thank you for considering HKU Journalism. I want to talk a little bit about our program and why I think it might be interesting for you. First of all, the degree is Bachelor of Journalism. And as the name implies, it's about training people who want to be journalists to become journalists. And I know there's been a lot of bad news about journalism, but let me take a minute to give a shout out to two Nobel Peace Prize winners who are journalists, brave journalists in their own countries, Dmitry Muratov of Russia and my friend Maria Ressa of the Philippines. As the Nobel Prize Committee said in making that surprise announcement, it's a testament to the importance of independent and fact-based journalism. The world now is awash with fake news and disinformation and misinformation. So it's never been a more important time than to be a journalist and to support independent fact-based journalism. And that's what we teach you here to do at HKU Journalism, is to become a fact-based, truth-based storyteller if you want to go on and do journalism. And there's never really been a better time to be a journalist. Now, I know some of you, if you were like me, may not have known what you wanted to do when you went into university. And that's one of the other beauties of our program, which is here at HKU Journalism, you get not only the Bachelor of Journalism degree, but you get a second major. And that second major can be almost anything else here at HKU. It can be political science, it can be economics, it can be computer science, it can be art history, it can be almost anything else that you are interested in. And the combination, the power of that communication storytelling degree plus that other major, it really opens up a lot of doors, whether you want to go into the corporate world, whether you want to go into government, whether you want to go into working for an NGO. I can't think of a place or a company or a platform here that doesn't have its own social media presence, its own digital platform that's not shooting its own video, and they are looking for storytellers. They're looking for people who know how to tell stories. And that's really what we do here at HKU Journalism. We give you those skills that you will need. The other thing that we do here is we equip you with all the latest technologies. We'll give you the video skills you need. We'll give you the digital skills you need. We'll give you the data skills you need, so you know how to kind of search data, search big data. We really teach you to be an all-around storyteller. And it's so powerful in today's marketplace. So I urge you all to give us a look. You're going to hear from some of our alumni who are working in all kinds of places around Hong Kong and really around the world, both in the banking world and corporate world and finance and real estate and the Hong Kong government. You'll hear from many of them. You'll hear from my colleagues here. But I just want to give a moment here to say thank you for considering us. You can check out all of the information about HKU Journalism online, and I look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah, Keith really mentions a lot of important aspects of the program, which is really cool. Like he said, this is the Bachelor of Journalism program. And with that informs a lot of what we do here. One of the main things you'll learn as a journalism student is you're going to learn how to research. You're going to learn how to ask the right questions. How do you scrape data from websites? And you're going to be combining that with the latest multimedia tools and digital platforms to be able to tell engaging stories about a wide variety of issues. And Yeah, it is about journalism, but it's also mostly about being a good communicator, and that's what our goal is.
And how we teach these to our students is through our many different courses. So we have courses such as video production, photography, online journalism, which AJ actually teaches.
That's my course.
Data journalism, like Keith mentioned earlier, and we even have a course called strategic communications.
And which gets us to our next part, which is kind of the most appealing part of our program, is the double major aspect of the Bachelor of Journalism. And it's a little bit unique compared to other double major programs in the University of Hong Kong in that you get to choose a second major of your choice from across many of the different faculties here at the University of Hong Kong. So like Keith said, it could be anything from computer science to music, fine arts, languages, I mean, you name it. If you have an interest in it, there's a high chance you can double major in it, with a few exceptions, of course. And the reason why we do that is that when you combine that with journalism, the combinations is very appealing to employers. And for us, it really creates a very bespoke, customized learning experience for you that caters to your interests and your expertise. So that's kind of why we do that. So if you're interested in us, we really think that that's a very appealing aspect of the program. So.
And we could keep you here all day talking about why we think our program is great, but I think, AJ, it's time to hear from our students about what it's like studying here at HKU Journalism.
Sounds good. We got a video?
Yes, we do.
Hit it.
It's been really fun studying journalism at HKU. I think it really pushes you to be more creative because you get to dabble in so many different things, whether it's like writing or video, and so you get to have a lot of fun with it.
We've already been out to interview people on the streets and interviewed government officials as well. And even this year we went court reporting, so it's been a really fun, practical experience so far.
Course I'm taking right now. It's called Multimedia Magazine Design. You learn how to use different softwares like InDesign, Photoshop, and Illustrator. It gives you a path on what you should do when working on publications and layouts, and I really like it.
I get to film a story about cattle on Lantau Islands, and that is very special because I carry a lot of heavy equipment alone, and then people's talking to me. I get to know what they think about environmental issues. You have to go through some hardships, but at the end, it is very worth it.
About the course or the entire environment itself, it's a very open-minded place, both for students and among the teachers, and so they're, encouraging you to learn and to be creative and to push for answers, and so it's a really eye-opening experience.
That's a pretty good video. Like the students said, one of the things that they love about our program is that we are definitely a hands-on, practical program. When we say that you're going to shoot video, we mean it. You're going to take a video camera out and shoot real videos that can be published on a real news website. And that's the way we teach here. And that's the bar that we're trying to hit, trying to get you guys to get published bylines. Which brings us to my next point is that for us, even though we're here in Elliott Hall in this cool lab, for us, really, the classroom isn't here. It's actually all of Hong Kong, right? And that's where you're going to be applying all of your skills. So if you ever wanted an excuse to do your assignments outside of the confines of the classroom, this is where you're going to do it with us at the Bachelor of Journalism, right? And for those of you guys who want to take your skills to the next level and take it further than just Hong Kong, we do have a pretty cool exchange program. We have partnerships with top journalism schools around the world, and you can take your skills there. So we have partnerships with the University of Navarra, UNC Chapel Hill,
Sciences Po in Paris.
Sciences Po in Paris,
Yeah.
Danish School of Media and Journalism. So if you're interested in doing that, we definitely encourage you to take your studies abroad to fulfill the journalism side of our program. And if you want to fulfill your second major studies, you can also partner, or you can also do the partner program with 100 different universities through HKU's worldwide exchange scheme. So yeah, no, I mean, for us, essentially the world is our classroom. So Yeah.
And we definitely want to tell our students that journalism is about skills and not just theory. So what we mean by that is when you graduate from HKU journalism, we want you to be media savvy because having these skills is transferable across industries.
Speaking of transferable skills across industries,
Yes.
we do have a video. It's a pretty good one, yeah. One of our students, current students, Lauren Lau, she interviewed an alum, and I think you guys might want to see this, right? Hit it.
Hi everyone, I'm Lauren Lau, a journalism student here at HKU. Today we're very happy to have an alumni with us, Ms. Amrita Daryanani, who studied journalism and graduated in 2017. We're thrilled to have you back. Welcome.
Thank you very much, Lorraine. It's amazing to be back at the faculty. It's brought back so many good memories and so many good times that I had here. So looking forward to this.
We're thrilled to have you because we're going to do a little interview about your experience here at the journalism school. So can you tell us a little bit about your experience? What was your favorite class?
So there were a lot of classes that I took. So it all ranged from news reporting and writing to audio journalism to video journalism to online journalism. But one of my favorite classes here was international journalism. So what we did was we were assigned a country. And we had to report news weekly on them. So I was assigned Ukraine. Honestly, I had no idea where Ukraine was and anything about Ukraine, but I was, able to meet people from there. We were told that we had to find a local source. So, through a lot of networking, through a lot of reaching out, I was able to find somebody that I could, contact to get updated news about the country. It was a great experience because it gives you that exposure to different cultures, to different societies, and teaches you the skill to be proactive as well. So that was really one of my favorite classes here.
I see. So, it's been 3 years. So do you mind telling us, where's life at now?
So I'm working AIA doing wealth management and financial planning for them. It's really amazing because you might wonder, I studied journalism and I'm more a journalist, but there's so many skills that you learn from journalism school that allows you to be able to apply it. So one of the things I do is I've learned how to reach out to different people, find my sources, find and build my network, and that's something journalism teaches you. I also know how to ask the right questions, and sometimes that helps me to better understand the needs of the clients and know what problem they're trying to solve, even sometimes better than them because we've learned those skills. I'm also able to explain the features, advantages, and benefits, the key features. A lot of people would normally give you a long list or long brochure and go through the technical stuff, but that really is not necessary sometimes because it just confuses the other person. So knowing how to simplify and say the right things is what the key thing is, and these are all skills that you can learn from such a program.
So would you say you still identify as a journalist?
Yes, I definitely still identify myself as a journalist. So you're always going to be a journalist at heart after you do the HKU journalism program. And that's because you're able to apply all the skills you learn, and they're all very applicable to your everyday daily life. You can, reach out to different people. We're very proactive. We're more open-minded. We're willing to take risk, and we're not nervous when we have to speak to people. So I remember, I had to speak to the general manager of Uber at that time. So it was Kenneth Shi, and I was able to reach out to him and not have that fear that, oh, he might be older than me. And this was as a student. So now when I have to reach more older and senior clients, I have that confidence that I know what I'm doing and I'm able to do that. And that confidence, that self-confidence only comes from a program that gives you that exposure, that hands-on application to meet different people.
So even though you're not in the journalism industry now, would you still recommend people to come take this journalism program at HKU? And if yes, what are your words of advice?
Sure, I will definitely recommend anyone to everybody to take this program. It's one of the best programs where you're able to build relationships not only with your classmates but also with your professor that last you past your graduation. It's also a program that allows you to second major in any other field that you want. So you can major from business, arts, political science, and I personally chose to major in business design innovation, which is a combination of architecture, entrepreneurship, management. And this program also allows you the opportunity to be able to practically apply all the skills. So be it building a website, making a video, and all these things are important for us now in our jobs. You know, no matter what position you're at, you need to be able to know how to do all these different skills. And it's one of the only programs that gives you that opportunity to be very hands-on. So every skill you learn, you've at least applied it once during your time at university. And of course, you have that exposure and that opportunity to do things beyond your classroom learning. And this is something that I really valued. So I would, recommend any student to go with this motto when you come into this program, that nothing is impossible, because impossible is simply I am possible. And therefore, I would suggest to you to take all these impossibles, turn all these impossibles that you have at the moment and make it a possible. And this program is one of the best programs that make you and allow you to live it day by day as your time goes by here. So yes, definitely take this program, no matter you're considering or not to be in this industry, because you can apply all the skills anywhere.
Thank you so much, Amrita, for your sharing and your words of wisdom.
Thank you much, Lorraine. It was amazing to be back on campus.
That's awesome. And if you have any more questions about the program, feel free to visit our website at jmsc.hku.hk. We hope to see you soon.
As usual, the students really do a good job at explaining things that we want to say. So yeah, that was Amrita and Lauren. Amrita is now a current in wealth management, and Lauren is a current student, actually.
Yes, year 4.
Yeah. Before we get into Q&A, just one last thing, actually, based on what Amrita was saying. Some of you guys might be wondering, you guys talk about professional experience and actually doing real-world experience. What are the other steps I can take to get more real-world experience? Well, one of the things that we require you to do as a Bachelor of Journalism student is to do an internship. Right. And I know that sounds scary. Like, oh my God, I have to do an internship. How do I find an internship? Well, another cool part of our program is that we do have someone who works full-time as the internship and career coordinator, who's going to work with you to figure out, what do you want to do in the future? What are the things that you're interested in? And what are the places that you can work at to get that training, so that when you get out of here, you're going to hit the ground running, right? And so our internship coordinator, we have partnerships with many different news organizations and communications organizations here in Hong Kong. So, if you're interested, for example, in potentially interning at Agence France Presse, for example, Associated Press, South China Morning Post, or say Fleischmann Hillard, right, which are global organizations, right, which our students have interned, and also some of our students also currently work at. We have someone who's going to work with you to find that out. So, yeah, I mean, we don't want to take up too much of your time with us talking.
Yeah, definitely. So we want to throw it back to the students here. I can see that there are some questions, so we'll go through them in order of how we see it in the chat. If you have any questions that you think have not been answered, please feel free to type it in the Zoom chat box.
We see them over here, so
yes.
ask
So
away.
the first question that we got actually was there interviews for our program? And the answer is yes, but the only difference is that for JUPA students, we will only issue interviews for those of you who put us in your Band A category choices, okay? So for those of you who are very keen to join us here at HKU Journalism and you're going through the JUPA system, please, please, please put us in Band A so that we can issue an interview invitation. And this is really just for us to get to know you more. We know that scores, especially for DSE, is very stressful for students to think about. And we want you to know that you're more than just a score to us. So we issue these group invitations for interviews because we really want you to see how we operate here at HKU Journalism, and of course for you to tell us more about yourselves. Now, if you are not coming in through the JUPA system, for non-JUPA students, we do have interviews, but these will be conducted on an individual basis. And these interviews will be issued soon. So the interview...
December.
Yes, will be issued in December. And this is for non-JUPAs, okay? For JUPA students, the interviews will be from June 13th to June 15th next year.
So look forward to that. Hopefully that answers your question. We also have one from Katrina Leung.
Yes.
Do we need to have video editing skills or media-related experience to apply to the program? Is there any skills that are prerequisites for the program? The answer is No.
No.
You don't need any particular skills to get into our program. What it does show us is that you are interested and passionate in communications and media, which helps, but there is no disadvantage if you don't have those skills already.
We will teach you those skills here.
Yeah, that's our promise, is that you will learn that. One of the cool things is what we're finding is many secondary school students, many high school students already have those skills when they come in. And the cool part about that is that's your advantage if you have those skills. Our job is to hone your technical skills to be able to tell interesting, engaging stories about a wide variety of issues. So the short answer is no, you don't need those skills. We will teach you that. And we understand not everybody is technically savvy. We understand that not everybody has ever tried that before. Don't worry, we have your back.
Yep.
Right? And if you have those skills, we will continue to challenge you to hone those skills to even greater levels.
Yeah.
So Katrina,
our promise to you, Katrina, is if
Exactly.
you join us, if you put us in your band A, if you're JUPAS, is that you will learn all these skills once you graduate from HKU journalism.
yeah, no. Hopefully that helps. Cool, Katrina. Let us know if that answers your question.
Yep. The next one is
next.
from Win Con. So I would like to know if whether a double degree of education and journalism is possible, and also if experience is required when applying for this program. What kind of students do you look for?
Nice questions. Two
Great questions. Yeah.
All right. Interested to know about education. So the thing is, there is a huge list of majors that you can double major in
Yeah.
with us. If any of you guys are curious about what that list looks like, if you do a quick Google search for HKU and list of majors, you're going to see a list of majors that you could potentially double major with us. And the only ones that you cannot double major are those that have different program structures.
Yes.
So obviously things like law, medicine, for
Medicine.
example. And because education is a professional degree, you can't double major in that,
Yes.
unfortunately.
Yeah, in the very short list of majors that you cannot do with us as your second major, unfortunately, education is on that list.
Yeah.
For your second question, AJ, what kind of students do you look for
that I look for,
at at HKU journalism?
HK Journal. That's a good question. I mean, there's all types, right? Obviously, for journalists, there's probably an idea that people have of journalists. There's probably an idea that you must be extroverted and outgoing, so you can ask questions. And the funny part is, actually, a lot of my colleagues, I mean, us included, a lot of our students, we're actually introverts, right? And the cool thing about this program is that, and about journalism and communications, is it's a great excuse to be able to talk to people.
Yep.
If you are scared of getting out of your shell and talking to people, talking to your neighbor, talking to strangers, being a journalist allows you the opportunity to actually ask a question, right? And produce stories. In terms of what we're looking for, it's quite simple, actually. One, are you curious about the world?
Yes.
Are you a storyteller? Actually, is even more key. I think the students that do well in our program have this, I don't know what you call it, but it's almost like this urge and this fire to
Inner drive, I would say.
right, to tell stories, and it's not just necessarily journalistic stories. It could be, like other types of stories, videos, for example. If you want to tell stories through photography, through social media, through the written word,
Yes.
right? This is probably the best program for you if that's the case.
Yeah, and to add on to that, like the students that we have here are, while they might be introverted, they are very curious to explain how they see the world. And I think that's one of the key points about being a journalist, is to take maybe something very complicated and using a medium that you're comfortable with, whether it's video or writing or even audio. So we do have a podcasting studio up here at Elliott Hall, taking all of these resources that we have and then telling a narrative, an engaging and interesting narrative, in order for everyone to understand what your story is about. So for our student profile, I'd say they are very curious, they're very passionate about what they do, and they really have this kind of empathy in telling people the truth about the world and about the things that interest them. So I hope that answers your question.
Really quickly, I just want to mention one more thing about that.
Yes.
Sorry. But I mean, when we do the interview with you, I mean, part of it, like Tina said, the passion, right? Show us, if you really want to come to our program, and if your scores obviously are good, show us that you've been doing some of this stuff, not necessarily journalism, but if you've been doing some kind of video, if you've been doing some kind of photography or writing or whatever, whether or not it's journalism or whatever, just show us that you have this drive to communicate,
Definitely.
to tell stories. And that's what we're really looking for. Our job is, we teach through journalism because the habits and the skills are transferable, but it could be through any medium whatsoever. So that's what we're looking for, is just people with this drive and this passion for this type of work. And if that's you, then you guys should come. Whether you're introverted or extroverted, I think this
we welcome all types.
So that's a very good, important question.
Yes,
so
thank you so
Win.
much. We have another question from Chan Hui Xing. Oh, it's Colin. Sorry, Colin. What is the minimum DSE scores for admission to this program? Now, the lower quartile for our students last year was 26, but we do want to emphasize that it fluctuates from year to year because it depends on the students who are applying, how well everybody did. But that is the lower quartile for last year. So if you go onto the HKU website, you'll see a list of the lower quartile and the upper quartiles for the DSE scores.
Yeah, give me a second, because I don't know if we're having a little bit of audio issue.
Yeah, I think
Just
so.
gonna look at the guys and see what's going on. That's kind of cool. But anyways, hopefully the audio is working. But this next question is pretty good. Can this course be a minor, or does it have to be a major? Very good question with very straightforward answers. You can't minor with us. Sorry, no, I take it back. You can minor with us. All right? If you're not coming through us as a journalism major, you can potentially minor. If you want to do the full program, however, the main thing we tell you guys is you have to apply directly to us.
Yes.
Right? If you want to be a Bachelor of Journalism major. If you come in outside of that, there's no way for you guys to be a major with the Bachelor of Journalism. So yes, you could minor if you're coming from a different program. But if you want to major and have access to all the cool stuff, then you gotta major.
And you gotta apply directly to the Bachelor of Journalism program, okay?
Code
Especially for those of you.
6822, I believe is.
Yes, 6822 for Jupus.
It's the only number I've memorized. But hopefully that answers your question, Hannah. Let us know if it did or not.
And then Liam has another question. What content should I add in my personal statement? Oh, I think we touched upon that earlier when AJ said, if you have any work that you think is related to media, or if you have any photography that you want to include in your personal statement, we most welcome those. It's not prerequisite, but we do like to see some sort of personality, I would say, in your personal statement, and also why you want to study with us. A lot of students tend to think, oh, I just want to show you all of my good DSE scores or my good IB scores, my good A-level scores, and that's great. We do, of course, have a minimum requirement for that. But on top of that, we do want a student who is, passionate about journalism, passionate about telling stories. So if you can inject any of that personality in your personal statement, that's definitely something that we'll take note of.
Yeah. No, I mean, just some tips. I mean, here's the cool part, not the cool part, but about personal statements. We get it. I mean, the whole admissions process is difficult. It's stressful for you guys, and you guys are trying to find the best program that fits your interest, but also giving you the best chances, best chances. And for that personal statement, especially with Hong Kong U, you only have one statement to give, and you're trying to hit as many points as possible. So we understand that, right? So again, like Tina said, just make sure that you hint that you are interested in communications or journalism or multimedia or storytelling in there. Obviously, if it's your first choice and you put that up top, it helps a lot, quite a bit.
Yes.
But for those of you guys who are trying your best to get into the best program as possible, just indicate somehow through your life experience or through through your abilities that you've always had this kind of passion for this type of career.
Definitely.
Right, and then if you have that, then at least we take notice, right? And when we do interview you, it helps, and we can talk about that, right? So we do understand that this is quite a difficult time for you guys when you're applying, but if you hint to us honestly and earnestly in your personal statement, that helps, right?
Yeah.
Does that help?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Katrina says, looking forward to joining you at Bachelor of Journalism.
Dude, it's a really good program.
I'm really excited to see you as well, Katrina. So best of luck. Audrey said, is it possible to pair a degree in psychology with journalism?
The answer is no, right? A degree in psychology, I'm looking off to the side to our program manager.
You
can.
are allowed to,
Degree?
yes. Because it's a double major program, so it's their second major.
Because I think I got confused with degree. Yeah, you can double major in psychology. Yes, that still stands. Actually, a lot of our students do double major in journalism and psychology.
But if you want to double major in both journalism and psychology, you have to apply to the Bachelor of Journalism first.
Yes.
Because we are a double major program, okay? So if that is something that you are very keen on, remember, if you're JUPAS, to put us, Bachelor of Journalism, as your band A. And then once you're in, you can declare psychology as your second major. Okay.
All right, cool. So that was that. Sorry for that. Win has another cool question about the Sendas scheme. We had this new requirement where we asked people who want to apply through the scheme to produce this video, or I guess there's a video where you throw some photos into the slideshow. There's no real rubric per se, other than just show us that you are curious about your environment, the neighborhood that we're asking you to talk about. I think we asked you for like 10 photographs, I forget. A number of photographs, but we just want to know, like, what is your eye looking at? What are you curious about? You know, that you're actually going out and not just looking at things from a surface level. We want you to be skeptical, right? Not cynical, but skeptical and curious about your neighborhood. And if you can show that through your submission, then it's going to be fine. It is a new thing that we've done for this year, but the reason why we're doing that is because we do know, kind of like I think what was it Hannah that asked earlier. Some of you guys already have these multimedia skills, and sometimes it's hard to convey through the interview. It's hard to convey through your personal statement, and for some of you guys, it's easier to convey through multimedia. Right? We get that. I'm a lousy writer, and so if I can do things through photography or video, I'd rather do it that way. And so for us, really, that's what it's all about, right? Here it is. It's a 5-minute slideshow. If it's less than 5 minutes, that's perfectly okay, right? But basically, we just want you guys to be able to tell us about why you like a certain location, and just be honest, right? That's it. So hopefully that helps. Did that help? Win? Maybe?
I hope so.
Yeah.
Another question from Hannah.
We have one. Oh, Ji Yuan, right?
G1 doesn't really have a question, but a very sweet comment. So I'm afraid that you won't want me, because I'm assuming you're saying that our program is quite attractive already. Thank you so much for that.
Yeah, no, I mean, if you're interested, again, I know there are certain, it can be quite, what's the word? Overwhelming and intimidating.
Yeah.
We are a small program, and that's on purpose. And we understand that because we don't take in huge numbers of students, you think that the chances of you getting in is going to be almost no chance.
Yeah.
That's not exactly the
That's
truth.
not true,
Obviously, you have to hit the scores, give or take, depending on the quality of the students' applications that we get for the year. But at the same time, again, through the personal statement, potentially through a portfolio if you have one, if you're close and you seem like a strong candidate, we can try to make a case for you if possible. So I wouldn't let, some of the things dissuade you or stop you from trying to apply, especially if you're extremely passionate about our program.
Yes.
Right? I mean, we do understand. We keep it small on purpose. One of the reasons why, my experience in my undergrad was that I went to a program that was huge, and I was just a number, and that sucked. Right? So for us, we really do our best to make sure that we call you by your first name. Students call us by our first name. Because at the end of the day, you're not just a number, right?
Yeah.
So if you're a bit scared and intimidated by how small our program is and how tough it might be, don't let that stop you. There's always a chance, right? So hopefully that helps with that.
Yes, and then Hannah, I see that Willie has already answered your question, but for those of you who cannot see the chat right now, Hannah asked how many credits are there for year 1 in Bachelor of Journalism. You are suggested to take about 24 to 30 credits every semester, but of course that's up to you and your academic advisor on trying to build up your study plan. So once you get here, you'll have a better idea, I think, but the suggested is 24 to 30 credits per semester. And then the
Foster,
next, yes, Foster. Can the University of Hong Kong study both PR and advertising?
Okay, okay, so this is an interesting question. So the University of Hong Kong does not have a specific PR, advertising, or communications course. The closest we have is us, actually. So you are doing a Bachelor of Journalism degree, but doing that degree doesn't prevent you from doing any of these other communications related courses. Just for fun, because I have it up here coincidentally, I'm just looking at a quick list of some of my contacts who are former students of our program. And a good number of those do go into journalism as reporters, editors, producers, and whatnot. But the number of those that don't is quite interesting. And I'm just going to read off some of the list. We do have a number of students who go into JD programs, so interested in law, coming from our journalism program. We have corporate communications, so Barclays Investment Bank, or even Fidelity, for example. We have marketing solutions executive, assistant manager, another solicitor, for example, a trader. We also have, if you're interested in tech, for example, Google, Instagram, Twitter. We have students who work in social media or communications for those places, content strategy as well. We also have one former student. She now works for the International Olympic Committee doing audience development, right? So even though there is no PR advertising communications degree here, half of our students, seriously, if you talk to your classmates when you come, they're going to tell you right away, they're not necessarily interested in journalism, but they're interested in PR marketing or any other communications field. Part of the reasons why we have a strategic communications course is because the number of students who are interested in that is actually growing, and we're exploring more options to expand into those areas. So if you're interested in not necessarily journalism, but communications, we are still the best program to go into if you're interested in that. So, and also, like I said earlier, with internships, I think we have internships with Fleischman Hillard and other communications companies, for example, too. So if you want to fulfill your internship criteria, I think those are also ways to fulfill it, not just journalism. So Foster.
I hope that answers your question.
I hope that answers, no, I love that question because it's a question we get all the time. And the reality is, yes, a lot of students are interested in exactly what you're interested in. So. Hopefully that helps. Let us know if it answers your question or not.
Next question is, may I ask, if I don't put journalism in my first choice, do I still have a chance to get in? Because my personal statement is more about other programs, but I still really, really want to get into journalism.
Well, if you really...
Okay, so my advice for this student is, if you are coming from the JUPA system, if you're very keen on joining us, please still put us in your band A. Okay, so if you put us in your band A, that gives you an automatic invitation for a group interview. So even if, for example, your statement is quite general, we can still see you on that day of the group interview, which is June 13th to 15th. Okay, so one of those days. And you can tell us then just how passionate you are about journalism.
If you're coming through not JUPAS, actually, just to be honest, we do look at as many applications as possible, and we do try to find those. This is why the personal statement is quite important. But even if we're not the first choice, we will look at personal statements and try to flag those who are A. This person's background might be a good fit for us, right? So just think about that as you're producing your personal statement, as you're writing it. We understand that you guys have many interests, right? And we don't want to prevent you from pursuing those. We want you guys to go into the programs that you really want to be in.
Of course.
But yeah, it's not a huge barrier, right, if you don't put us in your first choice, but it helps tremendously. Obviously, we want those who put us in their first choice to come to us, but we also still continuously look through all the applications that get flagged, and we look if there's any potential students who might want to potentially become journalism students, even if we're not their first choice. So it's not a complete, dead end if you don't do that, but just something to consider. Mention journalism in your personal statement, or if you're coming to JUPAS through the DSC, make sure that you put us in band A.
Band A, okay.
All right.
Thank you so much for
Still
that
a good question.
Yes.
All
and
right.
then this next one, we've already answered this, but if you are a journalism student, you are required to take a second major. Okay. So economics is one of our most popular second majors among our students, so you can most definitely do this. But again, the only way that you're allowed to double major in journalism and economics is if you apply to the Bachelor of Journalism first.
That is exactly true. There's no other answer but that. Apply to us directly. That's kind of the only, not weird bit, but just something you have to keep track of. If you want to come to us and take part in all the cool stuff we do, because we are very cool,
Yes.
you have to apply directly to us. 6822 is our program code.
Yeah. And then Liam's asking, is it correct that we only have to declare our second major in our second year?
That is a great question that we not talk about. Yes.
Yes, it is.
You do declare in your second major in your second year. The main tip I have for you guys for your second major, just talking to my advisees, talking to our current students, is the main thing that you should keep track of when you come to us in your first year. You got to create your what do you call it? Your study plan, right? Because not every course for your potential second major is offered every semester. So you really have to plan correctly so that you get into the what do you call it? Into that second major in your second year. But that's more of a logistical thing. Most of our students have no problems, but that's just my tip after talking to some of my advisees. It's more about just making sure your study plan is in okay shape. But yes, second year is when you do declare your second major. So you have time. You have time to explore. And also, it's easy to talk to any of the upperclassmen about their experiences and their recommendations, for example.
And that's an advantage of being in a smaller department. Okay, so you have a lot of one-on-one time with not just your instructors, but also your seniors.
That is a very good point. Ooh, Foster asked another good question. If I'm interested in the job of editor and interviewing people, what is the attractive point for your program and about the future career? Of course, I love your program ranking in the world and your program. Yeah, and you can answer my question, Celia. Thanks so much. Actually, if you're interested in the job of editor and interviewing people, this is the perfect program because that's exactly what we teach you how to do. Interviewing people is almost half of what journalism is. By interviewing people, I mean research, finding information. Interviewing people is part of that data collection process, right? And so the hard part is you can't just go up to anybody and just talk to them right away. You got to do some background information. And you have to know, you have to answer like who, what, when, where, why, how, right? So we'll teach you all of that. So if you're interested in interviewing people, that's exactly what you do here. That's half of every assignment that you do at HKU Journalism. If you're interested in the job of editor, the term editor has a lot of different meanings per se. If you're managing a group of reporters and you're kind of the editor-in-chief, or does it mean if you're interested in video editing and you're editing that, or say for text? All of that actually you'll be learning here with us. All right. One of the things that we didn't mention yet, but our program offers training. It's more of an integrated training program. So you will learn how to write, you will learn how to produce video, you will learn how to work with digital platforms, and so even if you are interested in only one aspect of journalism, you're going to do it all, right? Whether you like it or not, because really the fact of the matter is when you go out into the world, the nature of jobs shifts quite a bit, right? One thing that shifts, social media. That's a skill that you guys have, and you can get jobs in. So yeah, no, our whole point of this program is about interviewing people, is about editing pieces, and also working with other reporters, for example, to tell stories as best you can. So if you're talking about, or if you're asking about the attractive point for our program, that's what we train you for. If you're curious about your future career, that's why we have internships and a career coordinator, because we honestly, when you guys get awesome jobs, it looks good on us. And so we put resources into making sure that when you guys come to us, you get good internships. When you graduate, we still will contact you guys about potential future careers and jobs, whether it's communications or journalism. We don't stop contacting you. That sounds kind of creepy, but we will always keep in contact with you. So Foster, it is a good question. Why should you come to us? You come to us because this is what you want to do. It is a passion. And for us, if you like what we offer, even though we're small, even though we're English language first, if you like a multicultural environment, if you want to potentially do journalism abroad, for example, these are kind of the things that we are all about. And I mean, I'll be honest, like other programs are also good too, right? I just hope that whatever you choose the one that fits you best, right? And yeah, no, that's a great question.
Hope that answers your question, Foster. Thank you so much.
Horace.
Yes, Horace is asking, what is the class structure like? Will it be more like lectures or more like periodic projects? This is a good one, so I can answer a little bit. So I co-teach the reporting and writing, which is a core course for all freshmen. So it's something that all first-year students will have to go through. And we teach you the basics of reporting and writing, like how to interview people, how to start writing an article, things like that. The way that our class is structured is that we deliver a lecture And then the things that we teach in lecture, you'll be doing right away in the tutorial session. So we do have weekly tutorial sessions where we, try to hone the skills that we're teaching in class. So whatever you learn in lecture, there will always be an assignment that's corresponding to it. So for example, if our lecture was about sourcing, so teaching students how to, look for people to interview, then the assignment will be doing a vox pop, for example, going out into the street and looking for the right people to interview about a certain topic. So I think that's how most of the classes are structured at HKU Journalism. So we have a little bit of theory, and then we throw you out into the real world where you get to try to hone these skills, and then you come back and we'll help you edit, we'll help you do your drafts and things like that.
Actually, my classes, I just throw you out into the real world. Actually, for example, in my photography class, right, your assignments are straight up, you're going outside and taking portraits and photographs of people and subjects, for example. It really depends on the course itself, but really the assignments, the goal for the assignment is to do stuff that can be published, right? As a journalist, the most important currency are bylines and getting published, right? So that's what we kind of hit. So like Tina said, some courses like that. For the general courses at Hong Kong U, there are common core courses which are more lecture-based. You do have other courses in the university, and you also have your second major courses. But for us in journalism, a lot of it's very hands-on training. If you do video production, for example, you will learn how to use the camera with us in the classroom, but then your assignment will be to create a sequence out in Hong Kong, right? After that, you'll bring back that footage, edit here in our lab on Adobe Premiere, for example, right? So it really is, the goal for us is to make sure by the time you get out, you'll be able to do all of that stuff.
Yeah, and it's very skills-based, I think, as well.
And which actually gets us into what Foster's asking again here. He already has experience at his school magazine, right? So he has that, but it's not enough. Let me read this. Because actually I am the reporter of my school magazine for 1 year, and I'm very passionate in my boss, text editor and chief editor. I want to interview people and talk to them and make videos for our readers, and it is definitely not enough for me to just searching information, not doing interviews. Yeah, actually, that's a very good point, right? The whole point of this, you can't, every story is kind of, actually, we would get into this in actual lectures about this, so, but just because you're asking and it seems like that you really want to answer for this, really briefly, you can't do every story with just pure information searching on the internet, right? Some stories, you got to talk to people. Right, you can't avoid that. Whether you talk to people through Zoom or face-to-face or whatever, it really depends. But you can't avoid that. You have to find the right information for the story. And that's what you really do here. If all your stories have been just looking online for information about COVID and just producing that, you're not really going to come up with the most engaging stories, right? And so here at HKU Journalism, you're going to be doing just that. If you don't talk to people, your stories, I don't want to be blunt, but they suck. Right? So if you want to learn how to make better stories, if you want to produce more engaging narratives, that's what you're going to be learning here in every single class here. I guarantee that. Right? So yeah, hopefully that helps.
Thanks much.
Yeah. How many intakes are there for this year? According to the JUPAS website, 19.
Yes.
That's the number for JUPAS. We do try to hit around 30 to 40 total for the whole cohort, give or take, depending on the quality of the applicants, right? So the rest of it can be, through IB, GCE, what have you, right? So, and again, if you're really good, don't let that dissuade you from applying. We want to fill up our program with good quality students. So it is small, but there's a reason why it's small, like I said earlier.
Yeah, and we do try to keep the class 50-50, so about half from JUPAS and half non-JUPAS. And this is really just to maintain, our student body diversity, because we do have quite a few students from outside of Hong Kong as well who are applying. And it really just helps a lot in, maintaining a global perspective, especially because we want to train you guys to become reporters, not just in Hong Kong, but anywhere else in the English-speaking world.
Yeah.
So,
what is the quota for non-JUPAS student? Yeah, like we said, 19 for JUPAS, and the rest, are typically non-JUPAS, right? So we do try to hit 30 to 40 total, so you can do this, the math for that. So hopefully that answers Katrina's question as well.
Yeah.
Kathy has a huge passion. We're gonna have to start to wrap it up a bit. So get your questions in really quickly. But Kathy's asking, I have a huge passion for public speaking and writing. I've joined some competitions in my senior secondary. Would those be considered? Sure. if you have a passion, let us know about that passion, right? I mean, it is true, right? Part of journalism, like you can be shy and be behind the camera. You can write and edit video, or you can be in front of the camera. We have courses for that as well. Again, it comes down to what your interests and passions are. If you're interested in public speaking because you want to tell stories, let us know. That does help, right? So it really depends on how you craft your narrative and trying to figure out what you want to do. So if you're passionate about public speaking, actually that brings a good point. A previous student of ours, Joy Pamnani, she was a public speaking competitor, and I forget what it was. You can look her up. But yeah, she had a passion for public speaking, and she came to our program and did very well. So Kathy, let that show in your personal statement and in your interview if you're coming through JUPAS or non-JUPAS. Foster, another question. And do you take serious for your appearance, or instead of your appearance? You mean like the way you look?
If that's the case, then definitely not.
No, of course not.
We don't look at how students look when we interview them.
They took me.
Yeah, so don't worry about that, Foster. Like, we're definitely here to train you to be a reporter and not a supermodel. So
yeah,
if that's your question.
The most important thing is, like, can you tell good stories? At the end of the day, anybody that wants to hire you, especially in journalism, since it looks like that you're passionate about journalism, the main thing that employers in journalism are looking for are those students who can tell interesting stories, who can find interesting aspects of a story that no one else has found before. And if you can do that, if you have your own, your own niche, that's gonna account for a lot of things. So don't worry about how you look or whatever. It really comes down to, can you tell good stories? If you can tell good stories, you're gonna do well in this field.
Okay, another one from Aaron. If a student has experience in the field but does not have a high JUPAS score, what are the chances of them getting picked? So first of all, again, remember to put us in your band A for your JUPAS choices, and this is just to ensure that you have an extra step of introducing yourself to us with your personality, your passion for journalism. But I would also suggest maybe trying out other special schemes. So for example, the SPN or Sports Scholar schemes, where you maybe can get like your school principal's nomination, or if you're an outstanding athlete, you can try those schemes as well. But at least you should at least hit the minimum requirement for DSE scores at HKU. Okay, so try our very best. If you're very keen on our program, we would love to have you. And we do know that scores don't really reflect a student's ability to the full extent. So we're wishing you the best of luck. And if you can go through all of these other special schemes, please do so. And remember to put us as your Band A choice so that we can at least have a chance to meet you before we make up our minds.
Yeah, and as we wrap up, just one more thing to add to that. There is no requirement for you to have experience before you come to our program. So don't let that deter you either. So yeah, if you have no experience, that's fine, right? And actually, the funny part is some of you guys already have related experience. It doesn't have to be journalism, right? If you're part of the yearbook committee, for example, that could be useful. If you've shot videos for fun, music videos for fun, those are relevant, transferable skills to our program, right? So you guys have to take a little bit of time to think about, what have I done? What am I interested in? And how can I leverage that and use that in my, my statement? It's not a requirement, but just some tips for you guys, right? You guys are social media users, right? Highly likely better than me, right? Think about that, all right? Just as tips for you guys as you come to our program.
And final question from Foster, do we need a portfolio? No. So we do not require a portfolio. So like AJ was saying, if you have no experience, no previous experience in this field, don't worry about it. That's what we're here to teach you.
Exactly.
But if you do have a portfolio that you're very keen on showing us, you may include it in your personal statement for those of you who are in non-JUPAS applicants. And then for those of you who are coming through JUPAS, if you put us in your Band A and you come in for the interview, you are more than welcome to show us your portfolio or your body of work.
I think the admission system allows for portfolio submissions, but if it doesn't or you have a hard time, you can always email us directly at jmscbj@hku.hk. You see how I memorized that by looking at our program manager? Right? We're really friendly.
And it's
I think.
also in the chat, okay? So if you didn't catch that, the email is in the Zoom chat, as well as a form for you to fill in if you want to receive any further information from us after this session.
And if
okay?
you also want additional information as we wrap up, don't forget to check out our website. I've memorized this at jmsc.hku.hk. Right, it's really easy to find. You can find me and Tina's information there, our email address as well, if you want more personalized responses, I guess. But yeah, I guess that's about
time.
it.
Yes.
We're so stoked, sorry, slang. We're so happy that you guys spent this time with us, and your questions are awesome, and it helps really lets us know what you guys are thinking about as you guys apply. And hopefully this helps, you know, assuage some of your worries. But yeah, I guess that's about it.
Yes.
Anything else?
Thank you so much for those of you who asked questions, and for those of you who said that maybe your mind's been a little bit more changed into joining our program. So we are looking forward to seeing you here at HKU Journalism. Remember, for those of you who are in JUPAS, put us in your band A, and we can come and we can issue you an interview invitation, and you can come and see us and have a better idea of what we're like here at HKU Journalism.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, that's about it. Hopefully we'll see you guys in the fall. That's it. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.